During chemistry class, my teacher stopped everything and asked, "Where's the sulfuric acid?" Immediately, Andre's body hit the floor hard, and everyone turned to look. 3 boys were standing around him holding their phones and laughing while they recorded. Mrs. Boyles ran to Andre and knelt beside him. "What happened here?" A girl named Maya pointed at the boys with their phones. "I told them to stop being stupid. They dared Andre to drink the sulfuric acid for $20. Mrs. Boyles' face went from white to gray. "Oh my God," she pointed at me since I was closest. "Grab his legs. We're taking his body to my car." I grabbed Andre's legs while she lifted him under his arms. He was completely limp and his skin felt cold. We started carrying him toward the classroom door while everyone else just stood there in shock. "Why aren't we calling an ambulance?" I asked as we stumbled down the hallway. "They won't make it in time. He only has a couple minutes to live. We have to drive him ourselves." Then I remembered something from health class. "Wait, doesn't drinking milk help neutralize acid?" Mrs. Boyles' eyes lit up. "Excellent thinking." The cafeteria. We burst through the cafeteria doors carrying Andre between us. Kids eating lunch screamed and moved out of the way as we put him on an empty table. Mrs. Boyles started grabbing milk cartons from the lunch line while I slapped Andre's face trying to wake him up. "Andre, wake up! You need to drink this." After what felt like forever, his eyes fluttered open and he let out this awful scream. We shoved milk cartons at him and told him to drink, but he wasn't chugging them like we needed. He was taking these tiny sips like he was at a tea party. "How do you feel?" Mrs. Boyles asked. Andre looked confused. "There's something wrong here." Then without warning, he projectile vomited all over the lunch table. Kids who were eating their sandwiches got covered in this white chunky mess that smelled like spoiled milk mixed with chemicals. Everyone started screaming and running. "Oh no," Mrs. Boyles said. "They're not supposed to vomit. This just got so much worse." "What?" I asked. "I thought this was good. Shouldn't the acid be out of his system?" But Andre started screaming before she could answer. "It burns! It burns! Help me! Back to my plan. Get him to my car." We picked him up again and started running toward the parking lot. Mr. Wilson, the ancient security guard, stepped in front of us by the exit. "Where do you think you're going with that student?" he asked in his slow way. "There's no time to explain. I'm saving his life." Mrs. Boyles tried to go around him, but Mr. Wilson moved to block us again. "You can't remove a student from campus without proper authorization from the principal." "We don't have time for this," Mrs. Boyles said. Then she kicked him right in the balls. Mr. Wilson dropped to his knees, making this high-pitched wheezing sound. We ran past him to her beat-up Honda Civic. Mrs. Boyles drove like a maniac to the hospital. She ran 3 red lights and almost hit a mailman. Andre was moaning in the back seat while I tried to keep him sitting up. When we screeched into the emergency room entrance, 2 nurses were already waiting with a gurney. "We've been waiting for you," one of them said as they loaded Andre onto the stretcher. Mrs. Boyles looked confused. "What do you mean waiting?" "Those boys called 911 right after he drank it. They told us everything and said you'd probably be bringing him." Mrs. Boyles' face turned red. "If they called, why didn't you send an ambulance to the school?" The nurse looked embarrassed. "We thought it was a prank call. Kids call all the time saying someone drank chemicals for dares. We didn't believe it until they called back crying and begging us to be ready." They rushed Andre into the emergency room and pumped his stomach. The milk actually helped slow the damage, but vomiting it back up burned his esophagus worse. Andre spent 2 weeks in the hospital, but he survived. The school fired Mrs. Boyles for kicking Mr. Wilson and taking a student off campus without permission. It became this huge scandal because she literally saved Andre's life but broke protocol. But Mrs. Boyles and Andre's family sued the hospital for not responding to the 911 call. They won millions because the hospital admitted they should have sent help immediately. Mrs. Boyles retired at 35 and Andre got a whole lot more than $20.